Hi everyone, it's Nicole, and today I'm bringing you my September TBR. So in September, there are 2 readathons that I'm going to be participating in, and I'm going to be doing a surprise secret vlog. So I'm very excited for that. So the first readathon I'm going to be talking about is the Read What You Got readathon. That is hosted by one of my good friends and fellow hoe T over at ShadesNPages and Sharonda over at Brazen Book Reviews. So obviously this readathon is all about reading what you already own, whether that would be physical books, ebooks, audiobooks, you name it. If you already own it, it's fair game. And they have this really cute bingo board, which everybody knows I'm a sucker for a good bingo board. So I'm just gonna go through those prompts and then tell you the books I'm gonna be reading. So the first prompt on the bingo board is to reread a book, and for that one I'm going to be rereading I Married a Lizardman by REGINE ABEL. I am rereading this because my book club, we have started doing late night special book clubs where we discuss kind of more smutty or risque books than we typically do on our normal Wednesday night book clubs. So the last late night special book club we had was for Dick Fight Island. That was our very first late night special meeting, and it was a lot of fun. And so our second round is going to be I Married a Lizardman, and we're actually going to be talking about that this Saturday, September 4th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So if you've read that book, loved it, or kind of want to know what the heck I'm talking about, join us. The next prompt on the bingo board is a gifted book. So read a book that has been gifted to you. And for that one, I'm going to be reading The Taking of Jake Livingston by Ryan Douglas. This was given to me for my birthday by the incredible Whitney. I love her so much. So I'm going to be reading that one. I've heard nothing but great things about this book. It's a middle grade horror, I believe. So really excited. The next prompt on the bingo board is read a physical book that you own. And for that one, I'm reading Seducing His Secret Wife by Robin Covington. I was supposed to read this so long ago because when Michelle over at Thor Wants Another Letter and Bethany over at Beautifully Bookish Bethany, they did an entire Indigenous romance author read along, and one of the months was reading this book, and I missed it, unfortunately. It is a Harlequin desire romance, I believe, and I cannot wait to read it. Everyone loved it, and I adore the cover. The next prompt on the bingo board is read a book under 200 pages, and for that one, I'm reading Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nascosta. I think that's how you say it. Now don't look at me like that. I know you're giving me a look from the title alone, and then I show you a picture of the book and you think I've lost my mind. I haven't. People are actually really enjoying this book. It looks like it's completely over the top, so of course I'm gonna read it. The next space is a free space, so we're just gonna move on to the next space after that, which is read a novella. And for this one, I am stretching it a little bit. I really wouldn't technically consider this to be a novella, but I have to make it work because I'm reading it for another thing, and that is The Marriage Contract by Katie Robert. I know it's not technically novella length. I'm making it work, okay? You know, I'm making it work. I have to. Next book is to listen to an audiobook, and for that one I'm reading Broody Brit by Naima Simone. And for that one I came across this book because somebody on Twitter, and I can't remember who, I think it was Sil, honestly, she posted a picture of the first page of that book, and it was all about how she couldn't understand why Taylor Swift had dumped Tom Hiddleston. And I appreciate that. I also wonder. So I really can't wait to read that book. It's going to be fantastic. The next bingo space is to read a new to me author. And for that one, I'm going to be reading the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I've heard nothing but great things about Grady Hendrix, and I like vampires, so I am very excited to be reading this one. And the very last space on the bingo board for the Read What You Got readathon is cover love. So I'm just assuming that book means read a book that you bought because it was a cover buy or a cover that's really beautiful. For that one, I'm going to be reading The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. I want to read this book immediately Deja said we were going to buddy read it, so I'm going to pressure her into doing it. She just started college, so I'm a great friend. And I didn't even tell you how long this is lasting. Oh my goodness, here we go. It's September 1st through the 22nd. The next readathon I'm going to be talking about is another mini round of the Pop Culture Readathon. This round is Final Destination. So we have a little board and there's 5 prompts, one for each movie for Final Destination. And that is, of course, hosted by the wonderful Whitney over at BookswhitMe and Lorryn over at ReadingParent. This is going on between September 19th through the 30th. Yes, 19th through the 30th. So the first prompt on this little graphic that we have is to read a middle grade horror / thriller. And for that one, I am doubling up and reading a book from the previous readathon, and that is The Taking of Jake Livingston by Ryan Douglas. The next prompt is to read a murder mystery, and for that one, I'm reading Burden of Poof by Julianne Lindsay. This is Julianne Lindsay's first indie published cozy mystery. I'm very, very excited. She's been working so hard. She's written so many books. So many books of hers have come out this year, and she's written so many books to come out the end of this year and going into next year. So I cannot wait to read this book. Honestly, I read the prequel, When Bonnie Met Clyde, and that is kind of the name of this cozy mystery series, the Bonnie and Clyde mysteries. And Bonnie is our main protagonist. She is going to be the amateur sleuth. She moves back to Bliss after a separation from her husband and moving back home and starting her secondhand dress shop. And while she's in Bliss, when we read the prequel, she meets Clyde, who, of course, I think she thinks it's fate to meet a cat named Clyde because her name is Bonnie, and so the two become inseparable. And reading the prequel really sets you up nicely to read Burden of Poof, which actually comes out September 15th. The next prompt is to read a thriller or horror with supernatural elements, and for that one, I'm doubling up and reading the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. The next prompt is to read a book with the final girl trope. And if you don't know what that means, it means the final girl is a trope that happens in horror movies where this is the last girl. After everybody is dead and gone, the killer has gotten to them, this is the last girl that's got to make it out of this movie alive. So for that one, I honestly just Googled final girl trope, and of course, it kind of just led me to a book with that in the title, which is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. I believe this is his newer one, and people have been enjoying this one too. I don't really know too much about this book, but I'm excited to read it. And the last prompt on this graphic is to read a book with a creepy cover. And for that one, I'm going to be reading Gravesite by Charlene Harris. If you think that name sounds familiar, it's because she wrote the Sookie Stackhouse series. And she also has written some cozy mysteries, but also some paranormal thriller murder mysteries. So that is, I think, what this one is. I believe, I don't really know a whole lot about it. I bought this book, actually, I bought books in this series long time ago when I was reading and enjoying Sookie Stackhouse. So I believe that I'm just literally going from memory, and my memory is terrible. So do just take this whole next part with a grain of salt. But I believe in this book, we have Harper who sees dead people, and that is about all that I know. So but any kind of cover you look at, no matter what edition it is, the cover is creepy. It's really very interesting. So yeah, that is all the books that I'm reading for the Pop Culture Readathon. And going to my secret vlog and things that I'm going to be reading for that, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm just going to tell you the books I'm going to be reading. And from that, you could probably guess. But if you do guess, kind of mum's the word. Keep it to yourself so we can surprise everybody. So for this vlog, I'm going to be reading 5 books, and I'm just going to go down the list. I'm not going to tell you why I'm reading them. I'm not going to tell you anything else. And a lot of these books sound familiar because I'm doubling up and reading them for readathons too. So the first book I'm going to be reading is The Marriage Contract by Katie Robert. The next one is Morning Glory, Milking Farm by C.M. Nacosta. I still think I'm saying that last name wrong. I'm so sorry. The next book I'm reading is Seducing His Secret Wife by Robin Covington. The next one is The Fixer by Jessica Gaziella. And the final book I'm reading for this secret prompt is Wildest Dreams by Kristen Ashley. So those are all the books that I'm going to be reading in the month of September. I'll probably add a few more, sprinkle them in here and there. But if you've read any of these books, let me know what you thought about them. Which one should I be excited for? Go ahead and like my video if you did, comment below and subscribe to my channel, and you can follow me on all the social media platforms. The links will be in the description box below. We'll see you next time, avid readers.